Hello everyone. So back for another video today, and I want to talk to you about controlling your emotions because everyone wants to know, how can I control my emotions? And when people ask me that as an emotions coach, what I hear is, how can I get rid of these emotions, right? Because we all know how to modify our behavior, and there's a difference between modifying our behavior and controlling our emotions. So, I was having a conversation with someone yesterday about how we put so much emphasis on the mind and what the mind can do. And if I just think different, I'm going to feel different. And there's some truth to that we can talk about in a second. But what we forget is that our bodies are where we experience our emotions. We experience emotions in our bodies because emotions are physical sensations that we experience. They're not the thoughts we have, they're not the interpretations. Those are the feelings. The feelings are the stories, the feelings are the beliefs. The feelings are why we're feeling a certain way, right? They're the things that we use, the explanations that we use to explain why we're feeling a certain way. That's not the same as an emotion. An emotion is an animal instinct. Animals have them. We have them. We are animals. So when we are having these physical sensations, what happens is that we panic, right? And this person was explaining to me, like, I can think all these things, I can meditate, I can do all these things, but my body isn't in alignment with it. Like, my body is freaking out. And as somebody who spent a great deal of her life punishing her body, not treating her body very well, taking her body for granted, I can tell you that building a relationship with my emotions allowed me to build the most beautiful relationship with my body. Okay? And when I was able to do that, when I was able to build this beautiful relationship with my body, I was able to understand that the body is so wise. Like, your body develops before your brain, right? The body is the first thing to kind of, I mean, the heart is the first thing, but the body is so ancient and it's designed with such an intelligence of its own. We always think about intelligence as intellect and mind and our thoughts and how much we know and blah, blah, blah. We put so much emphasis on the mind. And we take our bodies for granted. So when I say that emotions are physical sensations in the body, I want you to understand that your body knows how to process your emotions. It was designed to know how to process your emotions. It's feeding your information, it's giving you this information so that something can be addressed, a need can be addressed, but it's not trying to hurt you, it's not trying to protect you, it's not trying to keep you safe, it's just doing its job. It's just doing its job, which is using its own unique intelligence, its own unique way of communicating. If we think about communication just on a human level, right? We communicate verbally, audibly. We also communicate with signals, gestures, physical movements, right? And so we understand that there are different forms of communication, right? And it's the same with how our mind and our bodies communicate. They communicate differently. And it's so important that when we want to become more emotionally regulated, when we want to become more emotionally mature, we need to understand this intelligence of our body. And we need to trust that whatever we're experiencing physically, whatever visceral experience we're having, whatever physical sensations are showing up for us, the body knows how to take care of it. It was designed to take care of it. So a lot of times people will approach me and say, I try to regulate my emotions. I listen to your podcast, the Mighty Emotions podcast. It helps me to identify what I'm feeling a lot. But when I try to feel it, like you talk about in the Mighty Emotions method, honoring the emotion, being able to sit with it, being able to be present with it. When I try to do that, I panic. I start to freak out. It feels overwhelming. It's too much. And that happens when we are thinking our emotions and not feeling them. That happens when we're in our mind and when we don't trust our body. And there's a lot of reasons we cannot trust our body. I was physically and sexually assaulted my entire uh, early developmental years. Okay? I experienced so much trauma to my body. And after, you know, I got clean, there was a lot of disconnect there. There was a lot of unfamiliarity, so a lack of safety, within my body, because my body had been violated so many times. I didn't know how to protect myself. I didn't feel confident in it. I didn't trust it. But as I started to gradually do it, as I started to gradually practice my method, the Mighty Emotions method, as I began to practice these steps, take these steps, I started to experience new experiences with my body. And that allowed me to say, oh, the old way, the past, that's not the only way I can know my body. That's not the only way that it works for me. I can develop a new relationship with it. And I do have a new relationship with it today. When it comes to intuitively eating, when it comes to just listening to the sensations that I'm experiencing and not avoiding them and not denying them and not trying to control them, not trying to say, no, I'm going to order you. I'm going to tell you to be this way. I'm going to tell you to, things like holding our pee, things like, being hungry and feeling that hunger in our body and ignoring it. All of those things harm the relationship we have with our body, and it does not stop our body from knowing what to do. Our body knows what to do. So when we are panicking and we're in our minds and we're generating all this energy, we're not actually feeling, we're not actually present with the feeling, we're not actually trusting our body and having faith that if we just relax into it, that the body is taking care of it. As it's happening, the body is taking care of it. It was just meant to be a signal. It was just meant to get our attention. And once it has our attention, our job is to pause, to stop, to slow down, to observe it, and to let the body do its job. That's what I really want you to take away from this. Let your body do its job. Let your body process the emotions that are coming up for you, and know that your mind doesn't know how to do it like your body. Your mind doesn't know how to process your emotions like the body, because the emotions are in your body. The mind will process the story. The mind will process the reasoning, the logic, the explanation. That will all happen after the body is regulated. People talk about nervous system regulation and being able to regulate your nervous system. Simply put, it's about being present with your body. It's about letting your body do its job. It's about slowing down, pausing, surrendering to the process that's happening, right? So here's the process of an emotion. You experience an emotion. Oh, it gets your attention. You're uncomfortable. You pause. You slow down. You go, okay, let my body take care of this. Let me just honor this for a moment. Let me just sit with this. The body will take care of it. It knows what to do. You'll regulate. Your body will regulate. It will regulate. It is always trying to regulate after being stimulated, right? If we look at animals, if you look at young children, right, they will have these crazy reactions, physical reactions, whether it's a tantrum, whether it's, extreme fear and shaking. And that is the body trying to re-regulate, that shaking, that moving, that's how we move that emotional energy so that we can come back to a state of calm, come back to a grounded state. And then from that grounded place, the mind is free to work, because the mind can be clear, because the mind can observe nuance, because the mind can see different areas, different elements, and we're not just looking at it from this black or white fight or flight state. So listen to your body, get to know your body, trust, have faith that your body knows what it's doing. It really does. And when you operate from that place of, okay, I'm feeling a lot of emotional discomfort right now, I'm feeling a lot of emotional dysregulation right now, I am going to let my body handle this. Amazing, amazing things happen. Okay? So don't forget that the body is wise, that it has its own form of intelligence. It's not that we ignore the mind, but anyone that's telling you that you will change everything you're feeling just from your mind doesn't really understand how the body mind work together. And when we want to be in an optimal state of well-being, it is about ultimately being whole. So practice pausing, practice observing, practice honoring your emotions. And I'll see you in the next video.